Welcome to Hattie's Hierophant. I am Crystal, your tarot reader. I have uploaded all of the people that were chosen for the complimentary reading and I posted it on Instagram. I did that on the 1st. So if you're like, you said the 1st, Crystal, I'm so sorry I didn't do it here first. It just takes me a little bit longer to upload it to YouTube. I will list all of those chosen in the description below. Otherwise, I hope you are doing well. I hope your family is well. I hope that beautiful spirit of yours is well. Let's go ahead and jump into your reading for April 2020. The center of your reading, Cancer, is the 7 of Wands. So right away, I feel like that we have to defend, or we're even on the offensive. I feel like it's a little bit of both. Like you're defending what you're doing, how you're doing it, and when you're doing it. And I feel like you're being approached from different family members, perhaps a love partner. So I feel like there's a little bit of pushback that's going on. Let's see how it translates through the rest of your reading, Cancer. Now we're going to go into your moon energy, and your moon energy is where your emotions are. That's where spirit is working on your behalf, and they always do because they love us oh so much. Or it's where you are resonating, and the 3 of those things, that juicy little trifecta, they all work together, believe you me. The first card we have in your moon energy is that of the King of Swords. The next is the 2 of Swords, and the next is 7 of Cups. So right away, I'm feeling, Cancer, I'm feeling like you've had it. Like you feel like it's just pure and utter madness. And because everything is just kind of, and I feel like it's just maddening, because everything is so maddening to you, it's stopping you from kind of making a decision, like, what should be your next steps? What should you do? It's almost like, look, I see you have all these things, and great, you have these 7 cups full of things, but none of them go together. I can't make a decision based off of this. Everything's incomplete. And I feel like that's how it's being presented to you. You're like, okay, yes, it's a lot. You have a lot of information here, but it's all incomplete information. So don't make it seem like you have all these things and all this information for me when there's really nothing here of value. You're not giving me an opportunity to make a decision based off of what? You are seeking truth, and that's what the King of Swords is about. Not only does he seek the truth, he brings the truth. And that's kind of what you're like, that's what I need. I need somebody to bring me the truth. Stop bringing me all this nonsense and tomfoolery and fluff. I feel like you're getting fluff, like you're not getting the whole story. We're going to come back and expand on that to see where all this fluff is coming from, Cancer. Now we're going to go into your sun energy. And your sun energy is where you show up. That's where I see you. That's where you are being seen. It's your ego. The first card we get, Cancer, is the Knight of Pentacles with the 4 of Pentacles. I feel like you had this last month, at least the 4 of Pentacles, and then the Knight of Cups. So Cancer, if we're dealing with like, I feel like we're dealing with a love partner who's being a little stingy with their money, right? Or they're acting like they don't have any money and they really do, and you're kind of suspecting. You're kind of suspecting, like, you're not telling me everything. You're giving me all this stuff like, yeah, I got to pay this and I got to pay that and I got to pay this and I have to pay for car filters and I have to pay for plastic cups. And you're like, what? You just gave me this list of things that you have to buy. And that's why you can't pay the mortgage, right? That's how I feel. And I feel like that your love partner, or even your domestic partner, right? Someone you are living with, almost feel like you feel like they're not being 100% honest with you with their finances, and they're holding them back from you. And this Knight of Pentacles is giving me that feeling too. Like, you know what? I'm going to keep this part in my pocket, right? Because this is one of the slower nights, and he's very intentional, practical, and purposeful. So what I'm getting is, with this money that we're holding on to, because you feel like they're not being 100% honest, they're not. I'm sorry, Cancer, but not in a not in a way that's 100% like dishonest. And I mean that in the sense to where they're like, you know what, I need to be practical about how I spend my money. So what you need and what I typically give as far as extra, right? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to start holding back a bit just in case. That's how I feel. I feel like they're not trying to be sneaky. It's more like I need to try to hold on to what I have because I don't know how long what I have is going to last. Okay? And then in your immediate present, right? And these are the energies that are flanking your Seven of Wands. And I'm getting a different energy from there, and I'm trying to lock onto it. So we're definitely going to come back to that. And I have the Eight of Cups along with the Five of Cups. So when we talk about cups, and this is in your immediate present, right? Cups are typically associated with our emotions. And when we look at this, someone is emotionally walking away, right? And it's almost like, if this hasn't happened yet, if you're not seeing the signs yet, right? And I feel like we have a full moon that's coming up here pretty soon. Around that time, that's when some of this is going to start appearing, right? Because I just, my intention and my intuition went right to that full moon. So either you're going to get indication of the status of your relationship then, and or folks are just going to be in their feelings around the full moon time. And that's what I feel like, because by the time you're here and you're walking away from something, that's almost like I give up, right? Like I've tried everything. I've done everything. Like, what else do you want from me? Right? This is almost like an emotional like shutdown, and that's the worst type of relationship to be in, when someone has emotionally shut down, because by the time they start this journey, they're not interested in turning back. You want to know how I know? Because they set these up so nice and neat, right? Because when they were stacking up those cups, they were thinking about every cup. This wasn't something that just occurred to them, or else it'd just be scattered. It looked like that, but 10 of them. I'm sorry, but 8 of them. But because they're so neatly stacked, they thought about every single reason to try to stay emotionally connected, and they couldn't come up with one. Okay? And then with this Five of Cups here, that just kind of really solidifies the disappointment and the unhappiness and not being satisfied, right? And I almost feel like one of us are feeling unappreciated, right? Feeling like, why am I always the one that's always picking up these doggone cups? How come I'm always the one doing this? How come no one appreciates that I bring these cups here every single day? I feel like that someone's not feeling appreciated in this relationship, in this domestic situation. Which is why we're feeling defensive, which is why we're on the offense as well, right? Because as soon as you start feeling like you are not appreciated, then you feel like you have to start defending the things you do. Is that grammatically correct? You have to start defending the things that you contribute. Is that better English? Okay. And collective, just so you know, Cancer especially, because this is your reading, anytime I do a little giggle like that, because I had someone who was offended by that, or at least they brought it to my attention from another reader. That's how I adjust my energy, because I don't want to sit there in disappointment. I don't want to sit there in I give up for you, right? I want to be able to transition to the next phase of your reading, and that energy is gone. So it's almost like it's a reset for me. I'm not laughing at your situation. I don't take any of this lightly. So I think it was just important for me to say that, Cancer. Okay, so now I'm going to expand more on your moon energy, my love. Okay, so I got the Two of Swords I expanded on, and I have the Emperor card along with the Ace of Swords. And interestingly enough, it seems like every sign is getting this Emperor card. It's like things need to be set right. And Spirit, and it's been in everyone's moon energy. That's where the Emperor seems to be showing up. Spirit is working to make everything right. By the time the Emperor comes, and the Emperor represents 4, and 4 is all about stability. And then you break that 4 down to a 2, and that's all about bringing stability to relationships, right? How people interact. And here, Cancer, you are seeking like that Empress truth, right? Give it to me straight. Give it to me where it's fair. Not just for me, but for everyone. Like, I'm not just interested in you saying, hey, Cancer, this is all for you. Like, great. Yeah, go ahead and fluff my pillow. Yes, I like that. But you know what? I want it to be good for you too, just so we're clear, right? You're looking for that truth. And because I see that Emperor there with that Ace of Swords, we can expect that. We can expect that so you can be able to make a decision based on facts, based on truth, and based on that Emperor type energy. And some of us may be dealing with an Aries. That's also some Aries energy there. And because it is in the moon energy, if you are dealing with an Aries Cancer, I feel like you might be dealing with their shadow side. And the shadow side of the Emperor can sometimes be a little bit immature and a little bit sharp with their words in an immature kind of way. Which is probably why you're kind of here. And this is kind of like a shutdown, right? Which is probably why you're feeling this. Like, I emotionally want to step away from this because this Emperor is in their shadow, in their shadow feelings. I expanded on that 7 of Cups for you, and we have the Page of Cups along with the 5 of Swords. So again, right? Listen, Cancer, this is how you're feeling. Yep, you can come with me. You can come to me with all these things that you say you're doing and that what you've contributed, but it's like nonsense. Like, they don't even connect. It's not making any sense. Why are you even offering it to me? It's like offering me a glass of water, but there is no cup. Like, how am I supposed to drink it? And then I'm supposed to feel like I'm being, unappreciative because I'm like, I can't drink this, right? Well, you didn't give me a cup. What am I supposed to do, right? So by the time this offer is made, right, and I keep picking up on immaturity, by the time this offer is made, we're here with the 5 of Swords. It's just, who walks away from that the victor, right? Who walks away from this as the victor? If I'm offering you something that's not complete, right? The person who gives it isn't the victor, and the person who receives it isn't the victor. You both just stand there looking like, now what, right? All right, let's expand on this King of Swords. We need answers. We need answers here. Okay. So I expanded on that King of Swords, and I have the Queen of Cups along with the Devil card. So I almost feel like we have like Aries and Capricorn energy here as well. And then Cancer, I really want to ask yourself, like, if this is a domestic relationship, if this is a domestic connection to where you're sharing bills, you're sharing household, you're sharing space, right? Are we trying to make this a connection? Are we trying to make this a connection? Are we kind of like hooking ourselves up for whatever reason? Because by the time the Devil card comes up and we're talking about relationships, sometimes we're in it for all the wrong reasons, right? Perhaps the intimacy is fantastic. Perhaps it's an exciting relationship. Perhaps we're just in it because I'd rather not be alone, right? Perhaps we're in it because this was just the next best move. I think that's something we should ask ourselves, because then next I have the 4 of Wands when I expand on that Queen of Cups, that Devil card, and the King of Swords. I feel like we're forcing this structure, like we're forcing this stability. I think that's a question you may want to ask yourself. Is this something that I really want? Do I want to have a structured domestic life with this individual? I really didn't mean for this to turn into a love reading. That just seems to be where it went. All right, so let's expand on your sun energy. Fascinating. All right, my love. So I expanded on that Knight of Pentacles, and I have the Nine of Cups along with the Four of Cups. So again, this is all about not feeling appreciated, right? Like I've given you everything you've wished for and more, and you're still not happy, right? You're still not happy. So why are you holding back? Why are you taking your time? Why do I feel like you're not giving me all of you, all of yourself? And I expanded on that King of Cups, and I have the Eight of Pentacles along with the World card. So I feel like, Cancer, that there's a cycle. We're in the middle of a cycle. Like, I don't feel like that it's beginning or ending. I feel like we're in the middle of this cycle of really focusing on what we really want to do, what we want, what's important to Cancer. So I don't know if you're writing it down. I feel like some of us are even writing like our memoirs. So are there some writers out there? Because I feel like that with this, some of us have some extra time, right? That we didn't want this way, but you have some extra time. And I feel like some of us are actually sitting down and writing out our memoirs. Some of us are writing a Dear John letter, right? And for you youngins who don't know what that is, a Dear John letter is, bye-bye, we're no longer together. That's a Dear John letter. Okay, let's expand on your immediate present, my dear. There's something else that World card is giving me. Let me expand on that, because it is pulling my energy. Yeah. So remember how I said that some of us are writing a Dear John letter? Some of us are like, I'm moving away from here. Like the tides are too rough for me to stay here. I need to go to some place to where, it's like you're looking for peace. I need to go someplace a bit more peaceful. And that's the Queen of Pentacles, right? I expanded on that Six of Swords. This is all about, that nurturing side of you, Cancer. It's almost like you feel like that nurturing side of you, which is so natural. It's so natural for you to give, but at what point is it like, I'm tired of you taking it? Like, I was giving it freely, but when you take it, I'm out of here. That's how I feel. All right, now let's expand on your immediate present. I knew that was coming. I knew it. I knew it. So your immediate present, so we got the, I'm expanding on that Eight of Cups, right? And we got the World card. I'm sorry, the Wheel of Fortune. We already had the World card in your present. So the Wheel of Fortune in your immediate future. Honey, I'm sorry. I don't know if there's a crosswalker watching. So for some of us, this isn't like I'm walking away, I'm divorcing you, I'm breaking up, this is over. It's more of a, I feel like Cancer, and if we didn't talk about this last month, I feel like you're finally taking action. I feel like you're like, okay, piss or get off the pot type of thing. Like, you need to make some changes. Like, all this stuff you're telling me, right? All this stuff you're telling me, those are just words. I need to see some action. If I don't see some action, guess what? I'm out of here, and I'm gonna do fine without you. And the thing is, Cancer, they know that. So if you haven't gotten to that stage yet to where it's like an ultimatum, right? And to some relationships, that's an ugly word, but not when you're the one who's being taken for granted and taken advantage of. And so I expanded on that Five of Cups, and I got the Strength card. And it's interesting, just about every sign is getting this one too. And then we have the King of Wands. So definitely I'm getting some fire energy all around. We have Leo energy here along with Aries energy here, right? And then with the Saturn, yeah, it's a lot of Aries and Capricorn. I see Capricorn in your moon energy. Nonetheless, so when it comes to this, like not feeling appreciated and the whole disappointment of it all, right? You've been having to harness the courage and the strength to like, all right, again, I'm being underappreciated. Okay. All right, King of Wands, right? Okay, Aries. Okay, fire sign, right? You've had to pull on that energy of going through it again. But why, Cancer? Why do you have to go through it again? Now I see why you're in the defense. Now I see why that was the center of your whole reading. So, I feel like that if we bring this up to our domestic partners and let them know, like, look, I feel like I'm being taken advantage of. I don't feel like I'm being appreciated, right? Cancer, I feel like some of you, your domestic partner or partners don't know how you feel, right? And they're not going to know until you say something. And when you do, when you come up and you express how it's affecting you, your feelings, even your health, because it's causing you stress and anxiety. It makes you anxiety to even know that you have to go and approach your domestic partner and say, hey, this is how I'm feeling. And it ends with justice, right? You'll be justified. There'll be understanding to when you approach them and say, hey, or approach her or approach him, approach that domestic partner and say, hey, what about me? I'm giving too, right? All right, my love. So that is all I have right now. Let me see if there's anything else here that we can talk about. I don't feel anything really work related. I do feel like some of us Cancers are moving, and some of us are even thinking like, after all this is over, I'm moving to Canada. I know that's very specific, but I specifically heard that like, after all this is over, I'm moving to Canada. And some of us are just going to be moving to a whole new different country. Like that's where your thought process is. If it wasn't already there before all of this whole C19 started. All right, my love, that's all I'm getting for your reading. I hope it made sense to you. Listen, I'm going to see you next month. I absolutely adore you.